That's the Charlatans. It's very, very perfectly pleasant.
Yes.
You know, perhaps a little unmemorable.
Oh, well, I'm sure you were singing along.
No, I wasn't. I was chatting with Nancy Sinatra. Nancy, I'm saying Nancy in the American way because I guess that's probably how you're used to hearing.
Say it in the British way.
How do we say that? Nancy.
Nancy.
Nancy. No, that's Churchill, isn't it? Nancy. We say it the same way.
We do.
Well, we've learned something already this morning. I thought we said it differently, but no. Okay, Nancy Sinatra.
Well, maybe in French. Nancy.
Nancy.
Yes.
Nancy. Nancy's over here to perform at the Meltdown Festival that Morrissey has put together a wonderful and eclectic, obviously, mix of performers. Last night was the New York Dolls. Tonight it's Ari Up, and I think someone's playing tomorrow night, Nancy Sinatra. Presumably, I would have thought you're looking forward to the performance.
I am so nervous. Do you know, this is my very first time ever appearing in the UK.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, no, that's not true. I had one show at a pub in Edinburgh.
Wow, so just one little gig before, and now this is the big thing?
This is it. It's the first time in England.
Fantastic.
I know. I'm scared to death. But Morrissey, you know, he's very persuasive.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like my mentor now.
You know, me as well.
Really? You don't need a mentor.
No, I don't need a mentor. But if I did need one, I'd go for Morrissey. He'd be my first dibs.
I adore him.
But you've been a friend with him for quite a while, haven't you?
About 10 years, maybe. Yeah,
how did you two meet? How did that happen?
He knocked on my hotel room door when I was in London in 1995. And I said, come in. I knew who he was because I had a poster of him in my house.
So you were a fan?
Yeah, we were Smiths fans in our house. My two daughters really loved them, and they brought the music into the house. And my younger daughter got the poster. Later, when Morrissey saw the poster, he said, "Oh my God, that's a bootleg." So I felt really terrible.
But what a lovely thing for him, I would have thought. Here's someone he's admired for years, and for you to welcome in and to sort of like offer him friendship, that's quite something.
Well, he just walked in with his arms full of things for me to sign, and he brought me a song by Dana Gillespie that he wanted me to sing. And, you know, it's like he knew what I should be doing before I did.
Yeah, so that was...
That's a real sign of a mentor. He's been just wonderful.
And he's written a song for you, hasn't he, I believe, which is coming out quite
I'm not
soon.
sure he wrote it for me, but when he recorded it himself for his new LP, Morris, You Are the Quarry.
I am the quarry. You are the quarry, yes.
He I guess he felt somehow that the track would be good for me, so he sent me his track.
Right.
And I put my vocal on, and we did a sort of a remix. It's completely different from his version of it.
Yeah.
Let Me Kiss You. I had T-shirts made that say "Let Me You." They have lips.
I love it when you do that. Yeah, like I Heart London.
Yes, I Heart London.
So it's really I would have thought quite an exciting time. Is it not?
Very exciting. It's kind of do or die for me. You know, I've been trying to get back into the music business for the past 10 years. And if this doesn't do it, I think I just have to quietly fade away.
Well, I'm sure. I feel confident for you, not having heard the stuff, but I'm sure it'll be terrific. You kind of stepped back because you were raising your daughters, is that right?
That's right, yeah. And once you step out of that little spot in the quagmire, the waters come in over you and you just disappear. And just, you know, to try to come back is brutally impossible.
Yeah, but then if you have the right in, I guess that's what you need. And with Morrissey, I would imagine you have that here.
I don't know. Time will tell.
I think so. Fingers crossed. I can't wait to hear the stuff. I know you can let us have the album in advance, so we'll start playing it as soon as we get it. You have a great voice. It's when I was a kid, the only thing I'd heard by you was These Boots Are Made for Walking, which was sort of obviously a novelty record, really. And it's a sort of thing you think, well, you don't really need necessarily to be able to sing to do something like that. And it was only later that I discovered the stuff you'd done with Lee Hazelwood, which I just couldn't believe how strange it was. But at the same time, how brilliant and how affecting it was. That was a really kind of important collaboration between the two of you.
Absolutely. Lee was kind of caught up musically in the drug culture. So a lot of his writing reflects that. Like Sugar Town was apparently about LSD. Some Velvet Morning, who knows? It's just somebody tripping out on something.
Yeah, but what a song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
And as a duet, I mean, really is quite unusual because normally the duets are pretty easy to work out what's going on, who's singing what to whom and why. Whereas here, you know, there are those different melodies and different paces coming in and strange references. It really is quite an unusual piece of work. Were you ever reluctant to commit to doing his stuff?
No, never, because they were all fairy tales. And he tells beautiful stories in song. He paints a picture with every song. We didn't need videos. because your imagination would just run away with you. There's my favorite one that we did was called Sand, and I think it's very sexy, and it's a real fantasy. He did a great job with that one. It was his kind of version of Norwegian Wood.
Right. Do we have Sand here?
I've got it here.
Well, look at that, the speed. We'll play that in just in just a second. When you're performing tomorrow night, will you be doing the songs from the sort of Lee Hazelwood period as well?
Yes. Well, they'd throw eggs at me if I didn't do some of those.
I would hope you would be doing them, certainly. And do you do Velvet Morning? I mean,
No, I don't do the duets because to me it would be a sacrilege, really, to try to do them with somebody else, or I couldn't possibly do them alone, obviously. So,
Yeah.
But I have got an idea. I was thinking that in my Moving with Nancy DVD, there are 2 songs, Jackson and Some Velvet Morning, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice? We can share this, get an opinion maybe, to run the video on the big screens in the venues.
Yeah.
Have Lee do his singing from the video, and I
you
can
do it live.
And
that would be great. I mean, that's kind of what they did, with an even bigger gap on stage when the last year Elvis's backing band toured over here, I believe.
Right.
And obviously Elvis.
I forgot about that.
Various
That's
reasons
right.
can't be here. And so they had, and it was quite poignant and powerful, I believe. But they had on the big screen, you saw Elvis performing, and there was an empty seat in the middle of the stage.
the only thing is that a Nancy of 30-some years ago and the Nancy today, I'm not sure I want to be up for that kind of comparison, with the two, the
Nancy?
old and the young
Nancy?
faces.
Trust me on this, you're still a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
I'm
But
still
no, I'm
looking
serious.
for a spark to develop here. And, just waiting for... Thank you's nice, but something else coming back would be good.
Should we play Sand?
No, we're chatting here. I don't think people would do that, because obviously, inevitably, we're all aging, and there's nothing one can do about that. And I don't think people are looking and expecting you to look how you did 30 years ago. That would be ridiculous.
I don't know. Some people do.
Well, then let's have them evicted from the building.
Okay.
What we'll do is I'll run interference for you. If I see anyone looking a bit sneery, I'll hike them out. Okay? You give me the nod, I'll be on them. Okay, we're going to play Sand. So this was written by Lee Hazelwood with you in mind, I imagine.
No, he actually did these duets with a girl called Susie Jane Hokum long before he and I began our collaboration. I used to tease him about that he never had a hit until I came into his life.
Okay, this is Sand. It's great. It's like a movie.
Yeah,
it's like
it
a
is.
movie condensed down, boiled down to the stock, and that's what you've got there. That's all
It's
you
a
need.
sexy little song. I love it.
When you
Just love
sing
it.
sexy songs like that, do you have to get yourself kind of feeling vaguely sexy? Is that
You
something
can't
that-
help it. You just get there.
That's what I like to hear. It's just confirmed what I've always suspected. Well, when you listen to music sometimes, you think, it's not all acting, Andy.
No.
Despite what you may think. How do you find showbiz today compared to when you were kind of first working showbiz, which I guess would have been with the 60s?
It's so fast today. It's like, do you remember the game Jump Rope?
Yeah.
Jumping rope, and you had to run in while the rope was
And
turning.
join it and then get out again.
Yeah, and then escape with your life. That's kind of what it's like. It's the getting in that's hard.
Yeah, jumping back
At
into
my
the game.
age, anyway. The youngsters who have big labels behind them, it's a little bit easier.
And not just your age, at my age as well, we have to watch our hip when we jump into something like that. You've got to be no sudden movements.
And the trick knee.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. What about the individuals, the people in showbiz now? Because, of course, not only with your own career, but being Frank's daughter, you must have met the greats of the 20th century.
Yeah, I think if you name a name, I probably have.
Incredible.
Go ahead.
Well,
Just
okay.
names.
Well, we were talking. I mean, Phil Silvers, I know, co-wrote Nancy with a Smiling Face for Your Dad, and Phil Silvers was someone I was just obsessed with when I was younger. What
He's
a brilliant
Sergeant
comedian.
Bilko.
Yeah. How was he? Was he a family
Wonderful,
friend?
sweet, just different from what you think. Most of these people were like Jack Benny, and they were all sort of normal, everyday people, unlike what I guess their audiences might expect of them,
And they were sort of low-key off-camera then, I guess.
Low key, but they're still very funny. The funny ones were funny no matter what.
Yeah. Elvis Presley?
Oh, Elvis! God, our timing was so bad. If I could live my life over again, I probably would seize the moment anyway with him. But since the first time I met him, I was engaged to be married. I was 19. Then the next time when we worked together, he was about to have a baby.
Wow.
So the cards were stacked against us.
That's a big thing to have missed out on. I mean, my biggest regret is I didn't get to see Nirvana live. And I don't think it really compares to the fact that you could have been Elvis's partner.
I know. It just, I think about it, I get mad at myself.
What was the movie you made with him? You made one film?
Speedway.
Speedway.
Oh,
Yeah, an epic film.
Was
if there
that the
ever
one?
was
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's the film where he has the line, "This is one grease monkey that won't slide."
Is it?
Yeah, because he's an engineer and as well as a racing driver.
I don't know. He did a lot of those.
He gets in a fight and he goes, "You want to watch out?" He said, "You want to watch out? This is one grease monkey that won't slide."
Hey, that's very good.
That's not bad, is it? Okay, well, we won't dwell on my skill as an impersonator. We were talking about an obscure name, I know, but someone who I'm very, very keen to find out more about. Ernie Kovacs, who was a big American comedy star of the 50s and early 60s, was working for us and then died tragically in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
And
he died leaving a party at my dad's house.
It was at your dad's house, the party?
Yeah.
Because the rumour is, the speculation is he was lighting a cigar, took his hands off the wheel. That's what I've read. I don't know if that's true, but...
I don't know if that's true either.
Of course you wouldn't, you weren't in the car, but, I'm just curious.
Very sad.
Really, and what a strange fellow as well, I would have thought. I mean, he was a real kind of innovator, wasn't he?
He was, but you could see the wheels turning. Clickety, clickety, click. His brain was always working. Highly intelligent, sharp guy.
Yeah. What about the rest of the so-called Rat Pack? Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, presumably?
Dean was the funniest man I've ever met in my life. Absolutely, the hands down funniest man. And he had the biggest hands you've ever seen.
Well, there you go.
Huge.
I think we can extrapolate out from that one and see why Dean was so popular. That's something I would love people to say about me when I'm gone. The biggest hands I've ever seen in my life. And Sammy Davis Jr., he was, I guess...
Sammy was great. He was like a brother or an uncle to us, And he wore his heart on his sleeve. He was what you saw was what you got. And he was great fun to be with. And also in a serious conversation, he was, again, very intelligent, self-educated guy. A lot of life experience.
Well, of course. Being a black performer in Hollywood at that period, I'm sure that he experienced a lot more than the white performers did, just because inevitably his journey was going to be a more challenging one.
Mm-hmm. My dad helped out a lot with those people who were suffering from any kind of prejudice, African Americans, Jewish Americans, whoever. He was a big champion of civil rights, equal rights. And I remember when the Sands Hotel was being built, I was about 13 or 14 years old. And in those days, the black performers were not allowed to live in the hotels where they actually worked, and brought in all of those people like Lena Horne and Nat Cole and Sammy. And so my dad said, well, at the Sands it's going to be different. Our entertainers are living here no matter what. Yeah. And he fought some pretty strong opposition about it, but that's the way it was. And after that, everything opened up.
Yeah, well, it's shocking to think how recent that is.
It's just dreadful. It's dreadful. It's disgusting.
Can I ask you about Frank a little bit here? When was the first time you heard him sing? Presumably when you were a child at home, you heard him, but performing live in a kind of concert situation. Performing
live? Boy, I don't know. Probably at the Paramount when they did a reunion show in the 50s.
So in the 50s, when he was really, that was in the first flush of his kind of, I know he was a star in the 40s, but really, he was still really right there, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Mostly he was a voice on the radio.
Did he sing to you when you were a baby at home? Did he sing to you in bed?
I don't know. Maybe. I know he never sang in the shower. People ask me that all the time.
You see, what I find hard to believe is if I had a voice even remotely close to something like that, I wouldn't even talk. I would communicate in song. It was just such an incredible tool, wasn't it? What a fantastic instrument to have. It really was.
Well, it's like Morrissey. I went to see his show at the Wiltern in Los Angeles a few weeks ago. I had never seen him live in concert before, and I told him afterwards that he reminded me of my dad.
What a thing to say.
He said, "You're just saying that to make me feel good." I said, "No, I'm not. I don't say stuff to make people feel good. I tell the truth as I see it and feel it."
That's incredible.
And because his voice is so pure now, in the early days.
It has kind of changed, hasn't it, in the last few years?
It's changed. Yeah. He's grown as a musician. His poetry is still brilliant, of course, and his body language. and his magnetic exchange with the audience. It's so much of my dad there, and I don't see that very often. I saw it with Bobby Darin.
Well, that's high praise. I don't know if you've noticed that Morrissey has the smallest hands on any man I've ever seen. I mean, they're like a doll's. Shall we have a?
I've just been handed "Let Me Kiss You."
Oh wow! And are we allowed to play this? This is the
Probably
track.
not, but go ahead.
We're going to do it anyway. This is the song that Nancy was steered in the direction by Morrissey towards. He had recorded it for inclusion on his current album, which is excellent. Of course, we've been playing it a lot. You Are the Quarry, but instead Nancy's going to be featuring it on her forthcoming album. Which, do we have a title for the new album?
It's called To Nancy with Love.
To Nancy with Love. Okay, and this is it. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Who do we have to thank for running back to the hotel to get that for us?
Keith Barrows.
Well done, Keith. Thank you. And he's not a small man either, is he? I imagine that was quite a challenge to get to the doors even to get back there.
He's a good guy, or I wouldn't have given him the key to my room.
Oh, there you are. Just make sure you check the bed before you climb in. He might have folded it funny, done that apple turnover thing or whatever it is. I remember once years ago, I was so drunk, I was filming abroad once, and I went out drinking with the crew, and they'd done it to my bed. You know where you fold over the bed?
Short sheet, we call it.
I got into bed, didn't even notice. I woke up half the man I was. I'm really looking forward to seeing you live tomorrow night. I'm sure the gig will go tremendously well.
I hope so. I want to be a good reflection on Morrissey. I don't want him to be disappointed.
I'm sure he won't be. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us here today.
Thank you, Jonathan. And Andy, too. Thank you.
You don't actually have to thank Andy.
Oh, it's very kind.
It was very nice, but
don't ruin
I'm not
it.
saying
don't
it
ruin
wasn't
the moment.
nice. I'm
You've
saying,
ruined the moment.
I haven't ruined. Have I ruined the moment, Nancy?
I don't think so.
There you go. What are you going to say now?
Nothing.
Okay. Oh, can I show you a picture, Nancy? We won an award for this show, believe it or not. We won an award for this show.
Oh, this is obviously going to be some
no.
horrible picture of me.
I know, Nancy's looking surprised, but we did. We won an award for this show.
I'm not looking surprised.
I was doing an appearance for the BBC just to help them out. It was a charitable appearance because that's me all over. You see, and I think
You're so evil.
Anyway,
I know
no,
this
what?
Magnanimous.
This is to us celebrate. Anyway, so Andy went to collect the award on our behalf, the Sony Award, and I believe he'd had a drink.
Of course, I'd had a drink
when he got on stage. And
working with you, I have a lot of drinks.
And he was given the award by Fergal Sharkey. He used to be in a band over here called the Undertones, who were a great band. Morrissey will fill you in. And anyway, Fergal's lost his looks a bit over the years as well. And here's the picture of the two of them. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing to do. Have you ever seen anything quite like that, Nancy?
No.
Where did you get that from?
Would you let those men near an award?
Have you shown this on your TV show?
No, what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the website of the radio show here, so everyone can go to www.bbc.co.uk.
I don't want it on the website because I can see the back of my head.
It's going on the web.
No, Andy looks very good. He looks a little surprised, but it's the
I was
other
surprised.
guy that-
I've got Fergal Sharkey next to me.
He looks.
Who's the other person?
The other person is Fergal Sharkey. He looks like he looks like Captain Hook's parrot.
Yes,
now. He's turned into and Andy looks like I don't know. You look like a bumpkin being shown fire for the first time.
Well, it was true.
He looks like a caveman being shown. Look at the power of electricity. Oh, look at that. Have a look at that, Andy. What do you think? What do you have to say for yourself? That's all.
Nothing.
Need to say no more. That's enough.
I'm going to play some Elvis Presley.
The sound of paper ripping.
And Nancy, I'm going to have that put on a T-shirt for you. Okay. And I'd like you to wear it tomorrow night on stage. Nancy Sinatra is at the Meltdown Festival. What's happening there? Vocals in? What are you doing?
I said I was going to play some Elvis. I'll do it again.
Well, we won't be winning the award this year, will we?
Not with that.
Nancy's at the Meltdown Festival at the Royal Festival Hall tomorrow night. I'm assuming it's sold out, but I'm sure if you want to go...
No, it's not.
It's not sold out?
Yeah, no.
Get yourself down there. Get yourself down there. Nancy Sinatra at the Royal Festival Hall for Morrissey's Meltdown tomorrow night. It's going to be really something, I'm sure, that you're going to remember for years to come. Thank you so much for coming in, Nancy.
Thank you.
Now a bit of Elvis?
Yes.
Of course.